Hey all, it's Rebecca, and in today's video we are working on another customer service chronicles, and this one comes from a call that was kind of one of those situations that it takes you a minute to realize what the actual to say. Like, how do you respond when you have a customer that says something that is so jaw-droppingly raw and you don't know how to respond? So, if you're interested, that's what this video is. This happened today on a phone call, so I wanted to talk about it because how we handle these calls on a customer service interaction can make or break your interaction. So let's talk about it. I'm going to roll my intro. So, to start off, this customer had already told me that they were 85 years old. So I already knew their age. And at one point, they had hit on me. I still get hit on quite a lot on the phone. And yesterday, I had a circuit court judge from California on the phone, which will also end up in a customer service chronicle video. I just don't know how I want to do it yet, so I'm going to sit on that one for another day before I do anything with that one, because y'all really will like that one because he was so proud. So we'll get into that one another day. This one is one of those calls that you get where your heart kind of just sinks, and it takes you a minute as a person to wrap your head around the situation, and you're taken aback by what was said. And the reason I say that is this customer had literally dropped not one piece but two pieces of very difficult information on me. We were waiting for something on their system to do something. Okay, I'm doing a screen share with the customer so I can see what's going on in their system. So while we are waiting on their system to do what it needs to do, we're just kind of chit-chatting. And so this gentleman had told me a little bit about his life and his education and his work history, and I knew a little bit about that. And he told me about the age of 65 that he had met this woman that was kind of like the love of his life, because his prior wife and him, I guess, didn't get on very well. He didn't go into detail, but he does have children that are older than me. And so he had told me at the age of 65 that he met this woman he fell head over heels in love with, and that by the age of 55 he had already retired because he was taught by his parents to be really financially responsible and to save and put things away and invest his money, and he did really well, and he used to work in finance so that he knew what he was doing, and he was very smart when it came to saving his money. So this woman and him traveled all over. He took her wherever she wanted to go. And so he noticed that when they got back from a trip, she wasn't quite looking herself, is what he said. They came back, and normally she's relaxed and bubbly and just rejuvenated, is what he had said. And he said after this one trip, he said she looked kind of drawn and tired, and so they went to the doctor to find out, why she just wasn't kind of as peppy as she usually is. And he said that she was effervescent, is what he had told me, that she just really had this love for life, and that she was just very outgoing and loved doing new things and trying new things and exploring things, and that was just kind of who she was. And he said she was very bubbly and upbeat, and For me, that's definitely not me. I am like a doom and gloom kind of person. I'm like, oh, the glass is half empty, we're all gonna die one day, like I'm more of the opposite end of the spectrum when it comes to that. So that's certainly not me. So he said they went to the doctor and they did a bunch of testing and stuff, and that they found out that she had like 3 to 6 months to live. And my heart fucking hit the floor. And he had told me like how much he loved this woman, and that they had like all these plans and stuff, and they had done all this amazing stuff. And when you have a customer literally just drop a literal bomb like that on you, how do you handle that on a call? And your first reaction is to say, oh my God, I am so sorry. Or I'm so sorry to hear that. And they already know. They hear it a lot. They don't need to hear that. I normally would say something like, that is so awful, I'm so sorry you had to experience that. But I didn't this time. Something told me to not say anything, so I didn't. And he said that 3 to 6 months that they gave us, she lived 16 months. And I'm like, oh my God, that is amazing. That's what came out of my mouth. Oh my God, that is amazing. He said, normally when people are diagnosed with, and he told me the type of cancer, they get gaunt looking and they look tired and this and that. He said she looked nearly radiant all the way up until she died. And he said she still had a love for life all the way up until she died. And that, I was like, so first he rips your heart out by telling you this woman that he like really loved gets really fucking horrible news of a really end stage type cancer and only has a short amount of time to live. And then he says that she gets like 16 months instead of like 3 to 6 months, which 16 months when you've got a cancer diagnosis is pretty phenomenal anyways, to live that much further. Because that's a pretty long fight when you have cancer. And then to like have all those kind words to say about her all the way up to the very end. And then he kind of like snatched the rug out from underneath me again. I'm like, holy shit, dude. And then he said, this year's, that year was hard. But then now I don't know if that year was hard or this year is hard, because my grown adult daughter, who is in her 60s, has Alzheimer's, was just sent home yesterday on hospice, was only given 2 to 3 days to live. And he goes, her husband's called me twice since we've been on the phone, because we were on the phone for like 2 hours, because he had an agent that he talked to yesterday that gave him bad information, refused to help him, and then he had difficulties with system stuff, so we worked through a bunch of issues, which is why we were on the phone so long, because I was literally watching the install take 15 minutes. It took forever. Something that normally takes like 3 to 5 minutes took like 15 to 20. So I was watching the screen the whole time. So after he tells me about this lovely woman, and then the cancer, and then the lovely story, and then ripped the rug out from underneath me, then he tells me about his grown daughter's Alzheimer's. This man's 85 years old. And then he tells me, I really appreciate the time that you took today with me to work with me to get this problem solved. You explained things very well. I was frustrated with the AI to get to talk to a human first of all. So when I got to talk to you, I was grateful to get a human on the phone. But I was really confused as to why Eric, who I talked to yesterday, which also works for the same company that I do, works for the very same office that I do, works for the same contracting company that I do, told me not to install the program until such and such date, and then told me not to do this and this and this, and then I double checked with the supervisor while we were on, the call. And I said, well, let me double check on those dates just to make sure my memory is correct so that we can start off with some accurate information. And then I double checked the information. I also found some discrepancies with things that the other agent had told the caller. And I've turned in a couple of agents recently for improper call handling. And I don't know at this point if I should turn Eric in for improper call handling, because the call came in right before our phone lines closed yesterday. The caller did admit that. Eric didn't get off the phone until 8:30 last night. Our calls closed at 8. And this consumer did nothing but rave about the amount of and type and quality of customer service that I have provided. But we did have side conversation during my call with him while we were on a screen share that may or may not look favorably on me for waiting on his system to do what it needed to do for me to do my job. So if I tell on Eric for doing a bad job, they may pull my call too, and I might get a no email. So it's okay, what do you do in that situation? Because he told me not one but two difficult stories that he's going through in life. And during our 2-hour phone conversation, I helped with 8 different issues that he had. I reviewed order histories, I reviewed install issues, we did a full system download, I helped import with other things. We talked about the fact that he's used our services since the 1990s for the company that I work for. This guy is a long-time consumer. And the fact that he spoke to somebody that works for the same contracting company as me, and they refused to help him yesterday, and they lied to him on the phone and then gave bad information. And I'm ooh, do I want to step in that again and tell on somebody else again for doing bad information? But also, would my side conversations also get me in trouble? But I'm also working at the same time. We were waiting on his system to do what it needed to do while we were chatting. So it's not like we were just sitting there shooting the shit while on the call. So now I'm double thinking things. But also, when you have a caller tell you about stressful things in their life, how you handle those things, and the fact that he commended me for how I handled his call versus how Eric had handled his, it makes me really kind of go back and replay the entire 2-hour call in my head about how I answered questions, how I relayed information, how he said, thank you for taking the time to explain this to me, thank you for looking this up, thank you for explaining how the screen share works, thank you for doing this and this and this. It makes me wonder, do other people not take the time when you're working with somebody that is of a certain age bracket? Do you not do that with customers? Because even when you have a difficult situation or a difficult conversation with somebody, are you as a customer service agent not taking the time to slow down when a customer needs it, to explain things in a way that is digestible for them? Because not everybody moves at a quick pace. And I've had more and more 80-plus-year-old customers lately thank me for taking the time to explain things to them and walk them through things and things like that. The company I work for wants me to send an email with a link that they can click to go to a web page and read the steps and do it from there. Sometimes customers don't want that. They want somebody to go, click this, no, click this, click the other thing, scroll down here, click that, okay, do this. That's what they need. And they want to ask questions as to why they're clicking those things along the way. But going back to the premise of this video, when he told me that his 60-something-year-old daughter had end-stage Alzheimer's and was on hospice and had been sent home from a facility to literally die, and that he didn't take 2 phone calls from his son-in-law so that he could get his product installed with me on the phone. He missed those calls to finish what he was doing with me and felt that dealing with me was more important than taking those phone calls. Number one, I'm now torn because that could have been the last phone call that he had about his daughter. But also, how do you handle that as a customer service agent? Because when we were wrapping up the call and I'm doing my closing like I'm supposed to, I said, please make sure you go ahead and call your son-in-law to double check and see what was going on, because you did miss 2 calls from him. I want to make sure that if there is something going on with your daughter, that, you know, if there's time for you to go over and see her, because it is her time, that you do have that opportunity and that you don't miss it. Because a parent should never outlive their child. Doesn't matter if the parent and the child have a good relationship or not. A parent should not outlive their child. It's awful to think about. It really is. Even though my children really don't speak to me, even though I send messages to my daughter and I get no reply, you know, it is what it is. She's an adult. She can do what she wants. She doesn't need me. She can mooch off of my father, and then my dad does nothing but complain and bitch. She does nothing but mooch off of him. So that's his own mess to deal with, because he created that mess to be in the first place. I offered a solution and he didn't want it, so whatever. My biggest thing out of all of this is, sometimes when somebody tells you really bad information that has happened in their life, they're not looking for you to commiserate. Sometimes they're telling you that information because they've bonded with you in a way that makes them feel comfortable enough to tell you about their life. And you should be proud that they have told you about their life. And sometimes just sitting back a minute and leaving that airspace for them to continue on if they need to can be the best thing in the situation, to see how else a customer is going to fill that air. Sometimes they just leave it empty, and then you can leave your comment there. Or say, oh my goodness, I am so sorry to hear that. That must be so awful to go through. Or, so sorry you had to experience that. Or whatever phrasing that you use in those kinds of situations, because I've never lost a spouse. I wouldn't know what that is like. I've had friends die, but I've never had a significant other die. So I wouldn't know what that's like. And so we don't know how we're going to handle those situations until it comes up on us. So how would you guys handle this situation if you had received that call? I want feedback in the comments below. What would you have said? What would you have done in either of those 2 situations, with his significant other or his daughter, when he dropped both of those bombs on me? Because literally I had to turn my phone off for a minute and walk away from my computer, because I literally was I was speechless for a minute. I had to go talk to Jason, because I was like, what do you do with that information? Because it's literally my heart sank when he said what he said about his lady love. And I'm like, oh my God. And then to tell me that his daughter only has a couple of days to live, and she's close to my dad's age, and I'm like, it's like, how do you reply to that, you know? Anyways, sorry for kind of a downer kind of video. The one that I have about the retired judge will probably uplift people, because it was kind of it was a callback situation that I had to do, and like you guys will get a kick out of it because he was so cute when I had to call him back. I didn't even realize he was a judge until the callback, so we'll get into that. But I will probably record that tomorrow. It is 12:11 a.m. on 12/14/2024. So this is December 14 now when I am filming this. I don't know when this will go up. I have so many videos scheduled right now between now and January, so I'm trying to like space them out and whatnot. I don't know what's going to happen. I need to film another video on like life updates or whatever, so there's that. But anyways, hopefully you guys like these customer service chronicles and are enjoying them, and I will see you in another video very soon. I don't even know what episode this is. I think we're on 4 now. 3 just went up, I think. And then this would be 4. There's 2, there's 3. So yeah, this would be 4, I believe. There's the intro. Yep, this would be Customer Service Chronicles episode 4. So, anyways, I will see you guys later. Have a fabulous day or night wherever you are, and I will see you in another one soon. The one tomorrow will be about the judge because I have to tell that one while it's still fresh on the brain. I still have my list of stuff that I haven't even done yet. So, lots of stuff to do, lots of stuff to edit. I've been busy with nose rings and bazillions more nose rings. So, lots to do before we list the house or so. Anyway, I will see you guys later. Bye.